Right. Our fathers worship on this mountain, but you say that in Jerusalem is the place where people ought to worship.
Yeah. So there was a conflict about worship. The Samaritans worship on this mountain. What mountain?
Gerizim.
Mountain Gerizim. And then the Jews worship God in Jerusalem. So both sides insist our worship is true worship, and they say our worship is true worship. So she had this question maybe for a long time, and then since she recognized Jesus as prophet, she decided that I'm going to ask him. He seems like he knows about spiritual matter. So which worship should be? Our ancestors worship on this mountain, but the Jewish said, no, you have to worship in Jerusalem. Question 3.
When you have a question about worship, whom do you ask? I will choose B.
B.
Pastor.
Pastor.
Why don't you C?
Go to the source.
Okay. What happens if you ask your father's ancestors about worship? Like my father was atheist. My father will say, there is no God, don't worship. But it is whom you ask, answer is different. If you ask a pastor, answer is different. You ask a priest, answer is different. You ask a rabbi, answer is different. So she asked whom?
God.
Yeah, she asked God. She asked Jesus. Brother Roman say, why not? The God, origin. Because she asked God. Maybe she's been asking priest of the Samaritan temple, priest. And then they gave him her answer. They gave her answer.
Yeah.
This is our worship is true worship, like that. And then when Jewish people ask Rabbi, whose worship is true worship, Mountain Gerizim or Jerusalem? They would answer. Mountain Jerusalem temple is the real true worship. So you ask a human being, sometimes you cannot get the right answer. So she asked the God, which worship is, Question 4.
What was the worship of the
Samaritans.
What was the worship of Jews? Which worship had an arrow or arrows?
Okay. I mentioned the Samaritans. What was their temple? Mountain Gerizim. Jews, where was their temple? In Jerusalem. Okay. What did they study? What did they believe? They believe God? They believe God. What did they study? This is they believed Moses' Bible books. They call Pentateuch. C-K-H. How you finish it? C-H or K? Okay. Pentateuch. Yeah, here, Old Testament. Pentateuch. Plus plus the prophets, prophets books. So, and they kept the feast. Passover, they killed the lambs and they had the feast. And then they kept the Passover. They had the priest. And they had a priest. So, almost the same. Almost the same. What's the difference? Place. Yeah. Place is different. They said that this is the most holy place. And then they say Jerusalem is the most holy place. So which one is right?
Jerusalem.
So in the Pentateuch, what God says Jerusalem, they switched Mountain Gerizim. So that they said that when they look at their Bible, everything said Mountain Gerizim, build the temple in Mountain Gerizim. So these people believe, but this is the holy place. This is the holy place. How did they build the temple? Here. How did they build this temple? How they build it? How did they build it? Temple.
God
Yeah.
let them build it.
No, God exactly said who's going to build it, where to build it. So King David wanted to build a temple. God says, no, not you,
Son, yeah.
but your son. And so where to build it? Jerusalem. So they followed. They built the temple in obedience to God's words, to God's direction. How did they build the temple?
By their own will.
Convenience. Yeah.
Convenience.
So they don't know exactly, but Josephus temple was built with the permission of Alexander the Great.
Alexander.
And so it's not there. That's the only record. The only record. So they built it later on. This temple was built Solomon's period. It's about 900 BC. This one was built, if it was built by the permission of Alexander the Great, maybe 350 or 400 BC. So which one was built first? This one. And this one is... Okay. So... Which worship has an error? Which one is in error?
Samaritans.
This one is error, right? Because, it looks like 99% looks like the same, but 1% is different. There are many religions that looks like 99% same as the Bible. Same as the Bible. Only 1% is different. That's big religion. You have to know the Bible. You have to know the Bible then you can discern what was wrong with the other one. But if you don't know the Bible, you cannot get out. You cannot get out. You're stuck in this believing. So you ask the priest teach you, this is the right religion. You ask the pastor, this is the right religion. They would say like that. And there are so many religions like this. Just change it a little bit from the Bible. Imitate, almost copy it. Just a little bit change it. There are so many religions like that. And then people believe in it. They believe in it. They don't know what's wrong with their church. They don't know. Okay. Question 5.
What did Jesus say about the worship of Samaritans? Jesus said worship of Samaritans is not right. I guess let's see what he's saying.
Is it verse 24 or 23?
24?
23?
22?
Yeah, 22 or 23 around there.
You Samaritan worship what you do not know.
Yes,
And then 23.
that's the right question. Jesus said, the Samaritan woman, Jesus said, your religion, your worship,
You don't know.
you don't know, because there is no God in there. God is not with them. God is not with them. There is no God. They are worshiping to air, to empty air. But they believe they are worshiping God. They were persecuted and they were killed to protect their faith and all this. But you know, there is no God in there. And Jesus said, you worship what you do not know. Question 5, second question.
Did God accept the worship of Samaritans? Look like not.
No, God is not with them. God did not ask them build the temple. God did not said Jerusalem. God said Jerusalem. There I put my name in there, but not in Mountain Gerizim. So God did not accept this, even though they are martyred, they're killed, and they suffered a lot. God is not with them because God did not ask them to do it. Man made it. So, man-made religion, God will not accept, no matter how they are. They look faithful and devoted and all this. God will not accept man-made religions. Question 6.
What did the Jews know about worship? Tell the worship of the Jews in ET period.
Jesus said, we worship what we know. So, Jesus said, we worship what we know. So let's look at during patriarchs. How did they worship God? You know what it means, patriarchs?
all the ancestors.
Yeah, exactly. Abraham, Jacob, Isaac, and then the 12. During patriarchs, how did they worship God?
There was a leader, and the leader directly talked to God, and God gives the commitment to the people.
Yeah. During patriarchs, they build
Tabernacle.
altar, build altar.
Art.
Anywhere, because they were traveling Canaan land. So they find the rock, and then they killed the lamb or offered the, cow like that. And so they built altars anywhere and then offer animal. Did God accept?
Yeah.
Yes, God accepted it. That's how they worship God. During patriarch period, God allowed. That's how they worship, build altars anyway. And so, because it was worship of one family, because of worship of one family. All right. And then next, how about in the desert? How did they worship God?
Tabernacle.
Right. God asked them to build the tabernacle. God gave a very detailed instruction. How many layers, what color, size, how many poles, what kind of wood, and then in the tabernacle they had ark, or inside the lamp, and then incense, and then priest, all like that, and then animal offering. So this is a little bit more. And then people of Israel came to the tabernacle and then offered the animals. So God accepted this offering because God instructed them to do it. So this is worship of Israel. Yeah, worship of Israelite. And then it's about 2-3 million people. 2-3 million people. Or more than that. Okay. And then it becomes a temple in Jerusalem. Temple in Jerusalem. How the worship change? How did the worship change? Tabernacle, they moved around as they travel, moved around. How about the temple in Jerusalem? God said,
Specific location.
right. Only in Jerusalem. Only in the temple in Jerusalem. God said, He will stay in the holy place. God said, I will meet you in this place. So this is the temple in Jerusalem, is the only place. In here, when they travel around in the desert, they kill the lamb, anywhere. But in here, now they kill the lamb only in the temple, not in the individual. So temple became the worship place. And this will be worship of kingdom. Worship of kingdom. So can you see the difference, how it's developing? Can you see? Can you see that? Okay, so because the Samaritan woman asked Jesus question about worship, which one is true? Mountain Gerizim or Jerusalem? Jesus revealed new worship. This is revelation. Revelation. No one knew. God established new worship. No one knew. Samaritan woman is the first one. Jesus told. So new revelation, new worship. What is the new worship? Jesus said to her.
And a time is coming and has now come when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth.
Yeah, can you read the verse 21?
21. Believe me, woman, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem.
Right. So this new worship is not the mountain Gerizim, not the temple in Jerusalem, but new worship is in spirit and in truth. This is new worship. Worship. So this is worship of what? Of the world. This is worship of the whole world. So can you see that worship is changing? Is it changing?
Expanding.
Yeah, expanding. This one is only one family. So God accepted the worship just anywhere the family could build. This worship was about 2-3 million people, and they were traveling in the desert. So God accepted established worship through tabernacle. And then Israel became the largest kingdom, and then God put focus on the Jerusalem temple. Now, the temple will no longer, it was so corrupted. So God will remove the temple, and then in spirit and truth, so that the worship will become all worldwide. Okay. Question 7.
어디까지 421. 어디까지 421. Jesus declared, believe me, woman, a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem.
Thank you. Neither this mountain nor in Jerusalem. So God will abolish, because the temple in Gerizim is, from the beginning, that God didn't accept it. God didn't prescribe it. But now, Jerusalem, it is what God designated. But even Jerusalem temple, God will abolish. It will not be worship place. When the Jerusalem temple, the worship will be abolished. What else will be ineffective in worship? All the ceremonies that carried on in the temple, no longer God will accept them. Holy garment, priest wear all the holy garment will no longer acceptable. Candles, animal sacrifices, all this will not be acceptable as a worship anymore. So God will now accept this worship. This worship is no mountain, no temple. So this worship is any place, any place. There's no place mentioned. Only in spirit and in truth. So any place, any time, anyone through Jesus. This is new worship for the whole world. Any place through Jesus, any time through Jesus, anyone through Jesus. And come to God in spirit and in truth, and that's the worship. God established new worship. Okay, so what does for salvation is from the Jews mean?
Christ will be born
Yeah,
from the Jews.
right. Messiah it will be a Jewish. Messiah will be a Jewish. So it's not American, it's not Korean. Messiah will be Jewish. That means Jesus is the Messiah. Salvation is from the. So when you see, even though the worship, is changing according to that period, the Messiah, idea of Messiah is running here. From Abraham, Messiah, he will come. Through Moses, all the prophet, Messiah, idea of a Messiah, promise of a Messiah is running in here. And this Messiah will be the Jewish man. Okay, question 8.
When is the new worship in effect? Obviously, when Christ died and he resurrected.
Yeah, can you read the verse 23?
Verse 20. But the hour is coming and is here, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father is seeking such people to worship him.
Has now come. The time is coming and it's now here. Now has come. So when Jesus was talking to the woman, the time arrived because Jesus was there. So it has come. Never mind the temple in Jerusalem. Now the new worship is ineffective. It's now has come. So we worship. No, she doesn't need to go Mountain Gerizim or Jerusalem temple. She said, right now, Jesus said, right now, you can worship God in spirit and truth. Question supposed to be 9. Okay.
Where are the new worship places? I think all of them.
Where's the part that says inside you?
Can living room be a worship place?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. How about kitchen?
Yes.
No.
You eat.
Any place.
Yeah.
It can be worship place. Because sometimes I pray here. So
Yeah.
this can be. How about car?
How
Yes.
sometimes we pray for our safety.
When you're stuck in traffic, yes.
Yeah. You know, we pray in the car. So car is worship place. How about prison?
Yes.
You know, a lot of people meet God in prison.
Oh.
Yeah. It is a good worship place. How about catacomb?
Yes.
What is kata?
Shepherd Johnny, can you explain to me catacomb?
In Italy, there is a burial place underground.
Underground.
Or underground, people died and they carried in the body, put it into the underground burial place. It's like a maze. It's like a very go down several stories. Go down. The ground condition is different, so they can dig up, go down, and there's a place, burial place. But then people, when Nero persecuting Christian, they moved down to catacomb and then hide in there,
Yeah.
and then they worship God and then keep their faith to protect.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it's a grave. This is a public graveyard, underground graveyard. But Christians worship the God. It was Christians worship place. Mhm. Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah. Lakeside.
Yes.
And then church.
Yes.
Church chapel. You know. So now since Jesus came, any place, it is our worship place. We kneel down and then we close our eyes. We pray, and that's the worship place. Anytime, anywhere, through Jesus. So both temples, the temple in Mountain Gerizim, it was covered with dirt, and they excavated. Now they just see the stones. Temple of Jerusalem, they even don't know the site, exact site. Just a piece of western wall remains, but it is all gone. But we live we worship God through new temple, through Jesus. We don't need a building or clothes or ceremonies. We don't need it. We worship God in spirit and in truth. That's the new worship. Okay, question 11.
What's the focal point of the worship? What are human weaknesses to worship God? 424. God is spirit, and his worshippers must worship in spirit and in truth. So, what's the focal point of worship? Worship in spirit and in truth.
Mm-hmm. Now, we don't need a building. We don't need clothes or incense or animal's blood. The focal point, this new worship, is that Jesus emphasized God is the spirit. God is a spirit. We worship
Spirit.
this God.
In spirit.
So spirit. So it is invisible, also
Intangible.
very holy, and what else? truth. The invisible, but spirit. Now, this part is very hard to study, and this is God's nature. This is God's nature. God's nature, He is spirit. We worship spirit, God who is a spirit in nature. So we have to worship. Our worship should be spiritual worship. Our worship has to be spiritual worship. So what are human weaknesses to worship God?
Worship without spirit.
Yeah, very good. We have a human weakness.
For example, like if you're giving message and I'm thinking of
Something else.
football game,
Right.
then
Oh
that's
my.
human weakness.
Okay. Human weakness is our nature. Our nature is flesh, and then earthly. So Brother Roman understands this part very well. So you know, it is in the Bible. It is in the Bible. And then God said people came to worship God in the temple. And what they think, they don't think about God. They think as soon as the worship is over, I have to go to sell the cow or to sell the grains like that. They were in temple. They are not thinking about God, but they are thinking about hurry, after this I have to do my business. So as Brother Roman said, during worship service, think about something else. That's our human weakness. That's the time we have to worship God in spirit, in truth. But they are thinking about
Lots of things.
lots of things. So this is our weakness. We think about earthly things, not worshiping in spirit. And then another weakness, very critical weakness, is we like to see. God is invisible, but we like to see. So people like to see in the temple holy, clothes and what's there, animals and candles and holy chanting. And when you go there, the environment, it looks like so holy. Then they feel like they are worshiping God. So people tend to make visible things. Invisible things. You see, they make, so shiny clothes and so shiny Mary statues, and they are carrying like this. It looks like they are worshiping God, but it's not necessarily related. So people do ceremonies, like ceremonies. When they do ceremonies, they think they are worshiping God. So, do something. They have to do something. Do things. Then they feel. So doing this one is corrupted. They corrupt the worship. make the worship corrupt. Make the worship corrupt. Jesus said, no, worship God in spirit and truth. So, let's read 23 altogether. Yet a time is coming and has now come when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For they are the kind of worshippers the Father seeks. God looking for, God is searching, looking, true worshippers. So when it says true worshippers, there are false worshippers. So, question 12. Who are true worshippers?
Who worship God in spirit and in truth.
Yeah. Worship God in spirit and truth. So that's God wants. God wants us worship God in spirit. Spiritual worship. Spiritual worship. And what could be spiritual worship? It is a very difficult question. You know, I read several commentary books. They even don't mention about it. But Calvin said spiritual worship is devotion and faith from our heart. That's spiritual worship. And then I spent so much time today just sitting down in my room, and then, from my heart, I worship God. From my heart, God, you are spirit. You are invisible spirit. But you are holy God. You have truth in you. And then, I'm trying to study Bible. Please teach me the meaning of it. And I just had time with God, and I felt this must be spiritual worship. This must be. I don't have to go around to do things and do things, but really, I gave my heart to God. And I really feel, I thought, wow, this must be the spiritual worship. And then, what is this worship in truth? Worship God in truth.
Worship by His word, but by how He said to be worshipped.
Truth.
Jesus Christ.
By the word, but to me, I think we have to be honest. Honest when we quote people God. We have to honest. One girl came to me, college girl came to me long time ago. She talked to me some stories. 90% of her stories were lies. And lies. And then, I listened to her, and it made me very uncomfortable, but I couldn't communicate. She came to me because she likes me, and she was telling me these things, but I know It's not true. So I couldn't communicate with her. This is the same. When we talk to God, not truthfully, it is hard, God, to communicate with us. Just like the girl, she came to me and talking all lies. I cannot open conversation with her. So God is truth. We have to be, when we go to God to worship God, we have to be extremely honest. Extremely honest. Because no deception in worship God. There shouldn't be any deception. So this is, we have to worship God, though He is invisible. We truly worship God in spirit and truth. I really don't know how to express this one, but maybe this will help. The true worshiper. And then this is a false worshiper. Now, this story, Professor, what's his name? I forgot. Kwon-ho. Professor Kwon-ho told me during our seminary class. He was pastor in America, in one of the Korean church. And then one church member, he was a gambler. He's a gambler. So he always had money, go gambling place and waste money. And then his parents couldn't help him. Parents couldn't do anything. He's gamble. But he regularly come to church, worship God. What can they do? He came and worship God, worship service. And then he got married. Wife couldn't do anything about his gambling. And then child was born. He's still gambling. And then when he go to gambling, he asked other church members, please pray for me. So he could win. Pray for me.
That's a good idea.
But one day, he went gambling. One day he was coming back. And he saw in the street. I thought, he must be inside the car, right? Either driving or in the bus, whatever, inside. He saw a man in the street with head chopped up, no head. And then he was staggering. The man was walking staggering with no head, and where the neck was cut up, there was bleeding. He was so shocked. So he prayed to God, Lord, who is he? And the Lord said, it's your family. Your family. He is the head of the family, but he was gone. And his family was staggering and bleeding and suffering. And after that, he saw his sin, right? He totally repented. He became true worshiper. He worshipped God. No more deception, no more, He worshipped God in spirit and truth. And the church revived big through this one event. So this is the best I can represent how false worshippers, because they are coming to church every Sunday, they think they are worshiper, but it is not. Really, true worshiper worship God in spirit and truth. Question 13.
What faith did the woman have in Messiah?
Verse 25.
I know that Messiah, called Christ, is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us.
Yeah.
Messiah is coming.
Somehow, because the Samaritans study Old Testament, she had idea of a Messiah. And then he will explain everything to us. When the Messiah comes, he will explain everything to us. So she had a little faith in Messiah. She had faith, she messed up her own life, but if Messiah comes, Messiah will explain everything to her. So she had the faith in Messiah, and then trusted. She trusted in Messiah. And question 14.
What did Jesus declare to her? Then Jesus declared, I who speak to you am he.
That means that Jesus said, I am the Messiah. And she met the Messiah. Okay, today's Bible study is up to here.